Yeah. Wake up with coffee and sports. Sunrise glow, listen coast to coast. A flow like you know.
Offensively, who made them? Oh, Patrick Mahomes.
Sideline to sideline with plays to show. This network's got the spark.
When you put up 300 yards rushing against someone, that you got your butt whooped.
I feel like I would have liked to see Oregon Ohio State in the semis, not the quarters. So I think some reseeding is probably where I would change. But
they're out of their mind. They're going to do this 3 quarterbacks in a row.
Here's the crazy.
I just can't take it.
Yours keep flying high, fans cheering loud, and one podcast moving through the crowd. Meaty Boyz brawling, no holds barred loud. This wire life never in doubt. Tune into the vibe.
That's my bold prediction for the show. Devin Booker, in the next 3 years, he will be a Houston Rocket.
Because I still think Seth is still at the top of his game. I do. I think he's right there. Who knows? Maybe not this year, but one time soon. Why wouldn't we potentially see Seth and Roman? You know what I mean?
Tune in the vibe.
Gardi on the mic tonight. News coming in left and right. Mo better with the latest fight. Gene's got that insight tight. Champions rise and they fall. Wire to wire, got it all. Every movie, every brawl. Tune in for the curtain call. Wrestling talk all night long. Catch the latest match and song. Ring the bell, let's get it on. Every story bright and strong. In the ring they clash and roar. New rivalries and so much more. Titles change and legends lore.
Hey, what is poppin', y'all? It is your boy, Gardi3, and welcome to the Meaty Boyz podcast. Of course, joining me like every week, we have the greatest co-host of all time. He is Mo Better. How you doing, Mo?
I'm doing great on a Tuesday night, getting ready to talk wrestling with my guy Brett, and along with a special guest from the Sports Report, Will Morgan, and we'll be killing it. Good to see you, Will.
Good to be here, guys. Thank y'all for having me. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. It's always great to have you, Will.
Thank you, sir.
Say, you know what? Before we get started, Will, why don't we ask the important questions? Who is your favorite wrestler of all time?
My favorite wrestler of all time,
That's a good one.
Booker T.
That's a good one.
Just for everything, have to understand the thing with Booker. Booker's been over everywhere he's been. From his GWF days, WCW, WWE, TNA, back to WWE. He's been over everywhere he's been. I haven't always agreed with his point of view some of the times, like on his podcast, but as an athlete, as decorated as he is, there's nothing Booker hasn't done. So he's my guy.
That's good. That's really good. Booker's one of my 5 favorites. He's in my top 5 for sure. And I'm with you as a performer. I'm with you all the way. I mean, he says some stuff on his podcast, like you said. I'm with you. I don't completely agree with a lot of things he says, but just as a performer, he's such a groundbreaking performer. And we're always talking about people that are incredibly athletic. Booker T was freakishly athletic.
And we got to remember, when he first won the TV title, who put that man over? Arn Anderson. That says a lot.
No, absolutely. I love Booker T. You know, it's funny because he's still, helping the younger generation now, even if it's doing something as little as just crashing out to Stephanie Vakir over the on commentary.
Booker elevated that. You know, it's a great move, but Booker elevated it by his reactions, right?
Oh, yeah, he did.
Now you got the whole crowd going,
priceless. Yeah, he's priceless.
When she got called up, I said, check on Booker. Somebody check on Booker. Check on Booker.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yo, he gets fired up, man.
He does.
I love that about him. He gets fired up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, speaking of podcasts I don't agree with, I do want to say, I don't know, did you guys hear Rikishi talking about
Yes.
Jey Uso?
I did. I watched the whole segment.
That was ridiculous.
That was brutal.
Dude, I don't know what he wants. Like in a calendar year since the start of the year, he eliminated John Cena to go to WrestleMania, tapped out Gunther, got a match on the John Cena retirement tour, had a nice little couple month title reign. What more does I get wanting more for your sons always, I get that, but at the same time, I'm not sure what more they can really give Jay. Do you want him to have a record breaking 2,000-day reign? He wasn't ever going to get a long reign.
Right.
The reign was exactly what it was supposed to be. So, I understand, that's his son and he wants what's best for him, but it's Rikishi, chill. He's in the running right now for the superstar of the year. He's had a fantastic year. Just let him get his push.
My only issue, you couldn't get that man 60 days.
Yeah.
That's my only issue.
So I think we all knew when he won. I mean, Will, you brought it up first that he was going to be a transitional. Nobody thought Jay was going to be champ for half a year or 300 days or whatever. But I thought he'd get 60 to 90 days at a minimum. So if Rikishi made any good points, it was that I thought he could have got a longer title run. You're going to give the belt up, the secret's out the bag, right? We all know that eventually Seth Rollins is going to be a champ, right? We all know that.
Hell yeah.
That's not really even a secret. It's just when he's going to be champ, but we all know that. And look, the Goldberg thing, knowing what we know now, is kind of a factor. Like I said, maybe Jay told them, if somebody got to drop the belt to Goldberg, I'll have me drop it before that. So, you know what I mean? Because knowing Jay probably said that, yo, have me lose before the Goldberg thing. I'm not trying to be the dude to lose to Goldberg.
And hey, losing against Gunther is nothing to scoff at. I mean,
he's a great wrestler.
He's a great wrestler. Nothing to scoff at.
I just don't think I like the way he delivered that line when he's like, "Oh, would they give John Cena and Randy Orton a 50-day title reign?" Yes, they both have 10 of those. Edge's first title reign was only 22 days.
Yep.
And I think I just didn't like the delivery. You could have kept it about your Jay. Just keep it about Jay. Don't start bringing Randy and John into it, because they've done the same thing to them multiple times.
Yep.
You're not always going to get that 3-month title reign. It's just not always in the books.
I think way back in the day when Kerry Von Erich beat Ric Flair for the title.
Remember that?
I think Kerry Von Erich was champ for a week and a half, and Ric Flair got it back. I'm just saying.
Hey, you know who Rikishi reminded me of? You remember Matthew Stafford's wife talking that stuff? That's what Rikishi reminded me of, talking that stuff. I get you wanting the best for your kid, but come on, man. You could make an argument he shouldn't have been champ in the first place. He overachieved in that sense. So you have to accept it for what it is and move on.
That's facts, because I don't know about you, Will, I didn't get your take, but Brett and I predicted that Cena was going to win the Chamber, right? That and when the point is, when Jay beat Cena, nobody saw that coming.
No,
we thought it was a lock. Cena was going to win.
Yep.
And so they threw us a curveball and Jay won. So let's be honest, I'm a Jay Uso fan, but like I keep saying, if you look at the top, I'm talking about the very top, where guys like Seth Rollins and CM Punk and Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, where you look at the top, Jay's kind of a notch below them.
Right.
He's nice, but he's slightly below them. And for him to have reached up into that and tasted that for a little bit, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. I think Jay Uso's going to win another title as a singles competitor. I just don't think it's going to be the heavyweight championship. I think Jay at some point will be U.S. champ again or Intercontinental champ.
Yes.
With Breaker and Brunson Reed being a tag team, that's an opportunity to form a tag team up with your brother again and go against those two guys. So Jay's gonna wear a title again.
At some point he will. At some point he will. He's too over. And
right.
And again, not everyone who's over has been a world champion. How many wrestlers can you count who's been over, never world champ, but was still over most of their career?
Let's say LA Knight, ironically, is a great example of that. Back in the day, guys like Road Dogg and Billy Gunn were super over, but they were never going to be world champ.
Nope.
That's a good one. Back in the day, Scott Steiner and his brother Rick were really over. Scott eventually became a champ, but Rick never had the kind of success his brother did.
No.
And honestly, it feels like a Uso reunion is just the best for all parties involved, because like when I'm thinking about dream matches for Jey Uso right now, it's not singles. It's I need to see the Usos versus the Motor City Machine Guns. I want to see the Usos versus the eventual United Lucha Brothers. Like, for me right now, all of my Jey Uso dream matches are just right now in the tag division.
And right now, and with the way the New Day is just yeah. The way the New Day is going, they need some competition in that tag division. Quick, fast, in a hurry.
This current version of the New Day makes me feel a lot like Goldberg.
Good one.
I didn't think I would ever say these words, but the New Day's got to go.
The minute you got rid of Big E.
This 2025 New Day is like me tuning in to watch my favorite player, Patrick Ewing, in 2003, except he's on the Orlando Magic. Like,
that was
like,
weird.
It's funny because they're not like they could still go in the ring, but they're just ever since that heel turn, it's been such a disaster where I'm just like,
that was worse than Akeem Olajuwon as a Toronto Raptor.
You know what? That's a great point, Will. But how many times have we said this? The heel turn, I don't mind. The execution of the heel turn is the problem. They suck as heels. They're not good. They're not good at it.
I think and also like you have to strike while the iron's hot with the heel turn, and like instead we got like a 2-month blood feud with the LWO. Like I don't care about the LWO. Like why are they even still like a unit? Honestly,
look, I know there's a strong fan base for the LWO, and I don't mind them because I feel like they're just meant to be on the opening card, but I don't know the relevance of the LWO. Like Ray made them relevant, but when he got separated from them again, they haven't won anything significant, right? Like they just kind of feud back and forth over no belts. They don't compete for belts or for titles or anything. So I don't see their relevance.
They're like filler episodes of Dragon Ball Z, just empty as I don't know what. Just empty.
That's good. Hey, let me ask you something, Brett. Will and I was talking about that this morning, real quick, guys. What were your thoughts on Raw at the end when Cody and Seth kind of stared down each other while Jay was kind of in the ring looking wounded or whatever? What were your thoughts, Brett, in that moment?
That it almost felt like that. Triple H there might be changing plans. Like, we were thinking all this time, like, yeah, he's probably just going to cash in on Jay or, whoever beats it now, like, whoever beats Gunther. But now, like, they teased it, and now I just can't help to think, like, is he going to cash in on Cody? Like, is Cody going to beat Cena at SummerSlam and Seth immediately cashes in on him? Like, I thought that was fantastic because it did exactly what it's supposed to. It put a little seed of doubt in your mind, like, at first, it was you knew he's cashing in on the world champ, but now all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, maybe him cashing in on the WWE championship is in the picture. So I thought that was a terrific bit of storytelling to throw that unpredictability in there.
I want to throw in two other alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
I got the feeling that it felt like just for a beat, and Will felt it too. It felt like Cody was getting ready to turn on Jay and attack Jay. And it makes sense with the whole storyline with Jay being all busted up in the ribs and stuff. And now they face each other next week. Like, everybody can, at some point, somebody's got to win that match. You can't stay a good guy forever. One or two things going to happen. I really believe this. Jay is as over as anybody on the planet. Will pointed this out. But I believe either Cody's going to turn on Jay or Jay's going to turn on Cody.
I would love that. Heel Cody's fantastic.
And if you look at the event itself, King of the Ring is to put someone over, put somebody in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can put Jay back in that spotlight by turning him, or have Cody turn, that leads you to a whole different set of possibilities in WWE.
Cody as a heel, come on, man. I think, look, some guys are great as faces. I think Cody would be even better as a heel.
No, I completely agree. Cody can do either one, but he was such a fantastic heel, especially in that little stint he had before joining AEW after leaving WWE.
I remember that. Yep.
I still remember him going to the TNA and just handing the one chick $20 and being like, "Here's $20. That is 20 more than they were going to pay you."
Yep.
Like, okay, Cody.
Yep. I remember that. Cody would be a fantastic heel, man. A fantastic heel. And with the American Nightmare moniker, it fits.
I agree. The American Nightmare, but as a heel.
Yep.
And we've already seen Jay as a heel, so either one of them can swing it. I just think Cody would be an even better heel.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I don't know. This version of Cody's just kind of weird. I guess the only thing I didn't understand, I still found it funny how he lost the title at WrestleMania because he wouldn't hit John Cena with the belt. But I'm like, dude, just like 2 months ago, you like Alabama slammed Kevin Owens like and broke a ladder. Like you would think just smashing somebody in the face with the belt, even if they are your hero, to retain your title would be just a perfectly fine thing to do.
But again, that's WWE playing off to that semantic of John Cena playing mind games with Cody. That's what that is, and that was great. That was fantastic.
No, that's fair enough. But, we do have another big event coming up, and I just wanted to, gauge your guys' excitement level on this, because I know I'm hyped. I'm going to be watching it.
Oh, heck yeah.
AEW All In. Ironically, the same weekend as Evolution and Saturday night's main event.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an absolutely wild event. Your confirmed matches right now are Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm, Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page, and Okada Omega. With another tease match this past week, might be the Young Bucks versus Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland.
Love Will Ospreay. That's my favorite wrestler in AEW.
I like Will Ospreay and Swerve teaming up. I like that.
Now, my question is, out of all the matches I just named, because I feel like, what match are you looking forward to, and what match do you think should main event?
For me, it'd be the ladies. I'm telling you, Toni Storm and Mercedes. Toni Storm is a big time main event performer, and I think Mercedes is right there with her. I think they should be the main event.
I think it should be Omega and Okada. I really think it should be those two guys. Those two guys are headline guys. Not to take anything away from the ladies, because I do agree with Mo. They're both great in their own right. But those guys are getting to, I'm not going to say legendary status as of yet, but they're both so over with in the world of professional wrestling. No matter where they go, they're known. So I got to go with that for my main event.
I think the only way I'd want the world title to actually main event is if Moxley is actually losing the title. Because it'd be a great visual, because, Jon Moxley's had the world title in that briefcase because the fans don't deserve to see it. If the end visual is, finally, Hangman dethroning him, unlocking the briefcase and, saving AEW, that would work. But if that isn't going to happen, then, I actually agree with Mo on this one. I'd love to see Mercedes and Toni Storm main event.
Tony Storm. Tony Storm. I didn't mean to interrupt. Tony Storm is just amazing. She's just amazing with that character. I like it a lot. I like Mercedes and what she's doing. My only reason why I say Omega and Okada is because I think that match is going to be a barn burner.
You know what's funny? That match is going to be great, but I'm worried people are going to have too high of expectations for it.
Yeah, that's something that can ruin you is the expectation game.
Yeah, because like, okay, they had that match like 7 years ago, and it was the first match to break like Dave Meltzer's 5-star scale. It was so good. And, you know, this is 7 years. Like, to me, this would be like the equivalent of The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels ran it back in like 2014. Like, they could have a great match, but it's not going to be as good as it was 4 years ago.
Both guys are older.
And that's kind of my point. Like, we're having a older Okada. We have Kenny Omega coming up of diverculitis. Like, clearly they can both still put on a really good match. But I don't know. If I had to say one thing about that match, it's going to be amazing. But I don't expect what you got 7 years ago, because I don't think they can top that. You know,
no.
Now.
That was a classic 7 years ago.
That's why I chose the ladies, because they're both in their prime. They're both in their prime. And Toni Storm has so fully embraced her character. She's amazing. Like, on the microphone, Toni Storm is nice on the mic. She's so comfortable in that character, it fits her to a T. And
we talked about heels earlier. Monet is doing the best job I've ever seen her do as a heel. She's always been better as a heel, be it Sasha Banks or now. She's always done a better job as a heel than the face. She is killing it. So you got to give hats off to her.
No, absolutely. And then she kind of publicly announced that she's dating the Beast Morto. So I normally don't pay attention to that, but
who?
He's another one of the AEW wrestlers. He's really fantastic, actually.
He is good. He is good.
Yeah, no, I normally don't follow that kind of stuff, but it randomly popped up that TMZ reported it, and it threw me off. But I was happy to see it.
Speaking of which, guys, does anybody have an update on the condition of Liv Morgan?
I heard I saw me and Gardi was talking about it earlier. It's been, from what I saw on Facebook, they had to give it the tag, they had to relinquish the tag team championship.
Knew that was coming.
Yeah, and it's gonna be, and I think they're gonna try to get that thing settled on the 29th, I think I saw. But yeah, if that's the case, then Liv is gonna be out for a minute.
You know, I think I would go a different route if I were WWE. Because I think there's a way to continue this story that, they're kind of building dissension in the Judgment Day. I think there's a way.
Roxanne Perez. Yeah.
I would just have all Liv for Roxanne, because I think you can continue to build the story. Let's say even if Liv does need to miss time, comes back like 2 months later, and most of the Judgment Day is gone, like, you can still have that built-in rivalry when she comes back with Roxanne and her.
Love Roxanne.
Yeah. I like that storyline better, Brett, because that's what they were building towards. So why wouldn't Roxanne take advantage of Liz being out? By the time Liv come back, Roxanne and Finn are running things.
Can we say this too? If you take Roxanne, put her with Dom. Dom has been the luckiest brother I have ever seen. Rhea, Liv, and now Roxanne. Come on, man. That's the trifecta right there.
And Dom has no loyalty. That's why and I know at some point it is going to be him and Roxanne. Dom is scum. He keeps everybody's back in.
Yep. They did they showed an interview, and they were asking several wrestlers, what wrestler would you not want your daughter to date? Most of them picked Dom. Most of them picked Dom. Dang, man, don't do Dom like that, man. All that man wants is chicken fingers. That's all that man wants. Chicken fingers, chicken nuggets. That's all that man wants.
One of my favorites was a video like that is, what wrestler would you not want babysit your kids? And CM Punk's answer is the funniest. He says, yeah, Rey Mysterio, because look how Dom turned out.
Oh man, that's wrong to do.
Man.
That's wrong to do a Hall of Famer like that. Y'all know Ray's a Hall of Fame.
That is cold.
Nah, absolutely. we had the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. It was a good one. It was a lot of fun. We didn't get to do a show immediately to follow up on it last week, but I thought Money in the Bank was great. Like, we got the shocking return of R-Truth. We got Seth and Naomi with briefcases. Like,
Yep.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
It was entertaining. It was entertaining. You didn't see R-Truth coming either. You didn't see R-Truth coming. You saw Paul holding the drone in his hand as he was coming up, getting slammed off the top rope. That was fun.
That was awesome.
It was an entertaining event. Very entertaining.
Logan Paul is a lot of things, but he is never boring.
No, not at all.
I saw a huge Twitter debate break out because somebody say Goldberg is a better wrestler than Logan Paul, and it just started an absolute war.
I don't even know how you make that. Who makes that argument? Like Goldberg and Ultimate Warrior, they're both horrible wrestlers.
Right. With the Goldberg argument, it just turns to, but listen to the pops of the crowd when he hit those spears. Like, okay, so.
Oh yeah. And I will never forget this. Stephen A. Smith said his favorite wrestling entrance was Goldberg's.
That don't surprise me at all.
You know what?
And he said that. I hit him up on Twitter. I said, bro, you need a new favorite wrestler.
I will say the entrance does hit. Like, the entrance ages very well. Like, the music. Once you see it like 2 or 3 times.
You know what? It hits, but it hit too when Gilbert came out too.
Yep.
I love Gilbert.
Gilbert was awesome. Gilbert was awesome.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can make a great, like, it's funny with if you talk about Goldberg, I think the better thing to talk about him isn't just wrestler, because once you say wrestler, when you start talking about just in-ring work, it doesn't favor him, but I think you have to expand it like, well, Goldberg's a better performer and got better reactions. Like, okay, well, Goldberg did get legendary reactions in like 98.
But I would never
performer
forget.
might track, but wrestler, nah.
I will never forget when he had that match with Steven Regal, and Steven Regal made him look like a fool. I will never forget that match. Never, ever forget that match. You saw what Goldberg was at that point. And yes, is he a statuesque figure? Is he someone that WCW could possibly put their hat on as an ambassador? Is something the same thing with WWE can put him as an ambassador? I get it. That's fine. He's a good dude. He helped a lot of people up in the business, particularly Big E. But when it comes down to pure wrestling, no, that's never been Goldberg. Never.
But I'll give him credit. He did have a huge following.
Mm-hmm.
He did get big pops whenever he did his spear or he press slam somebody.
Yep.
I'm not arguing any of those things. I just think that no one wants to like bring up the fact that most of his matches lasted 90 seconds, maybe
90 seconds to 5
maybe
minutes,
4 minutes, 5 minutes tops. Like I'm just saying, like he's built for a very short time period.
Oh yeah.
No, absolutely. You never forget the little things like the way Atlanta erupted when he beat Hogan for the title on Nitro. Like,
remember
that was an absurd reaction.
Remember that.
But yeah, no, if a Goldberg match goes over 5 minutes, like, it normally just derails after that. Like, and that's why I'm praying Gunther versus Goldberg. Just short, sweet, give it like 10 minutes total, including the entrances and the introductions. The actual match can be like 2-3 minutes. Let Goldberg, do a slow walk off, say thank you, and bye to the crowd. Done. I just hope the actual match, they don't try to do we want to show one last time that he can actually wrestle, because the last time we tried to do that was he was wrestling The Undertaker in Saudi Arabia, and that was a disaster.
I think it was Carmike who said who did the better spear. There's so many wrestlers who did a better spear than Goldberg.
Braun Breaker.
I'm gonna go back to the classic Rhino.
I think Breaker's spear to me has become the new standard because he's moving so fast. Like,
yeah.
Nobody hits that spear that way. Like, he hits it so fast, I feel like he hurts himself doing it.
You see, because he comes off the rope so quick.
Mm-hmm.
I think Goldberg's still up there, like with the best spear. I think his is still top 3. I think it's really just. I think the debate with the best spear in the game does come down to either Goldberg or Rhino, or honestly, it feels like Braun Breaker's already in that conversation.
Goldberg, Rhino, Breaker.
Edge
had a great spear. And
it came from a smaller dude too, but it really hit home.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Speaking of Goldberg, he's gonna have his retirement match next month, hopefully. So I thought we'd have a little fun. A little game of start, bench, cut, or you can just rank the matches if you want. Whatever's easier to you. And if you're listening in or tuning in the comment section, here are the matches that I picked out. And the kind of category I went with is simple. Career-threatening matches. So, start, bench, cut. Ladies and gentlemen, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 26, Streak versus Career, WrestleMania 24, Shawn versus Ric Flair, or Cactus Jack versus Triple H, Hell in a Cell at No Way Out 2000, which, if you haven't seen that match, it is terrific.
I'll start. I'm gonna start Cactus Jack and Triple H. Bench Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. I'm cutting Flair and Shawn Michaels. I didn't think that was a great match. The most dramatic part of the match was when Shawn Michaels apologized before he super kicked him.
I'm sorry.
The match wasn't great.
Mo and I had the same mindset there because, Shawn versus Taker is just my favorite match of all time, so I got to start that. I'd bench Cactus Jack versus Triple H, and I'd cut Shawn versus Rick.
I'm going Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, start, bench, Cactus Jack, Triple H, and cut Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels.
I will give Shawn Michaels credit. The fact that he was able to get such a good match out of Ric Flair at age 107 was absolutely terrific.
Oh my goodness.
They were doing that whole run of, your career's on the line the next time you lose a match. And really, all the matches up until then were just, absolutely mediocre until it hit that that Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair. And he brought the absolute best. And, so we're going to say that's his retirement. 2022 didn't happen. His TNA run didn't happen. Because that was just brutal.
Oh, hell yeah. No, I will give Flair credit. That in TNA, that promo with Jay Lethal back in the day. Ooh, that was fun.
That was the one highlight of Ric Flair in TNA.
That's the one highlight that man got.
Talk about an underrated performer, by the way, in Jay Lethal. That was absolutely terrific work that he did.
Oh yeah. Jay Lethal was awesome.
No, and I did want to show this off too because I thought this was kind of funny. So, one of the people I follow on Twitter, last SmackDown was Booty, and then, mind you, this post was made on the February 23rd, after the February 23rd episode of SmackDown. Mm-hmm. He randomly says the June 16th, 2025 episode of Raw with a really depressed look, and this dude goes, Goldberg will return that day. He said his last match will be sometime in the summer. And I just thought this was terrific because how in the world do you predict both of these things to be true? 3 months before it even happens?
Yeah, it's a crystal ball.
That's crazy.
No, that's what I'm thinking. Dude must have been able to tell the future. We say, of course, with Goldberg return, Liv injury, and Jey Uso winning, you're just kind of oof.
The one thing I will say, we talked about it this morning too. As much as I love Asuka, because I do love Asuka, oh my gosh. But the thing about it, and I agree with Mo, love Asuka, but Stephanie Fakir should have won that match. She should be in the Queen of the Ring.
I thought
in the Queen of the Ring.
They made it too obvious.
Yeah.
Asuka coming back, so she come back, they put her over. I think she could have came back, held her own, not been the one to get picked, but Stephanie Fakir should have won.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm not trying to put Oscar down, but Stephanie Victoria is the one who needs to push, not Oscar.
I don't. Maybe they'll go with the lesser. Maybe they'll give Stephanie Bakir women's U.S. title reign first or Intercontinental title reign. Julia and Stephanie Bakir as champions is that's something I could definitely get behind in that regard.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
I love the pun.
I like it.
Say they keep teasing Julia versus Selena Vega, and I think Vega has done some great work, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little too excited for give me Julia U.S. champion. I think that would be absolutely terrific. Maybe book that one at Evolution.
Vega's just a feel good moment to me. That's what she is.
She's kind of an overachiever, right? She's an overachiever because she's very little, small.
Yeah.
She's
teeny tiny.
She is. So I think she's kind of an overachiever, but somebody that tiny, I don't think they're built to go for a long title run.
No.
No, and say of course, listen, Stephanie Bakir winning the title I would put that one at SummerSlam because I think that would be a great moment for SummerSlam, and it would be a great dream match too, unless if Lyra is winning the title back from her or Bayley. Bakir versus Becky Lynch at SummerSlam would definitely be a match worthy of that occasion. I'm excited to see how they book the 2-night SummerSlam. I'm hoping Bianca's going to be back by then. I know she's been out with that injury.
She needs to turn heel.
Yeah.
She really needs to turn heel. She's born as a face. She really needs to go back to being heel.
She needs to turn. It's funny because Bianca needs to turn heel. I think Tiffany needs to turn heel. Tiff's not that good as a face. She's not that good as a face.
I still question, and I know Key Williams is gonna kill me because I know she loves Tiff, but I still think Tiff has some issues in the ring she needs to work out. I think she looked weak in that match with Charlotte. I think she was gassed in that match against Charlotte. I still think she's somewhat green in the ring. Maybe she got caught up a little too early. I don't know. But it may work itself out. It may not. But right now, she's your champion, and she's over, at least with the fellas.
I once again, I think she's just miscast right now a little bit. Like, I think she's great when she's the heel that's in control of the match and taunting everybody and showing how much better she is.
Right.
Like her being like the scrappy underdog, like babyface, just doesn't hit the same to me. Like,
Don't hit the same. Not everybody's meant to be a face.
Nope.
Oh yeah, we all know there's a long litany of guys who are just great heels or great faces, but couldn't do the other.
Yep.
I think you're right. Her as the arrogant heel, coming off it like she's better than everybody else. I think that's the best version of her.
Oh yeah, come out the spoiled little brat routine would be great.
And I think she could be like a tweener, but like her going like full on babyface has just been like awkward. Like, if you want a player to get cheered, like, just don't change like who she's been. Just make her the bad person that just feuds with other bad people. Give her that tweener gimmick. No, yeah, there are definitely some wrestlers that just can't pull off, a pure babyface or a pure heel look. Watching her be like a pure babyface almost reminds me of like when they tried to do that multiple times with the Miz, and I'm just like, this just is not working for me.
It ain't working.
I'll say, and of course, in that same week, we have coming up in a couple of Saturdays here, June 28th, we got Night of Champions. They just announced Dom versus AJ Styles. That's going to be absolutely terrific. And honestly, guys, this might be like the most heelish thing that John Cena has ever done. Is telling CM Punk he gets his title match, but it's going to come in Saudi Arabia. Because for anybody that doesn't know the history, when CM Punk didn't work with WWE, he told talked multiple times about the human rights issues of Saudi Arabia and told the Miz to go suck a blood money. I'm sure you can finish the last word.
Wow.
Yeah, so he spoke out multiple times, and now John Cena, as the heel, goes, if you want your title match, you're going to be a hypocrite, and you got to come follow me to Saudi Arabia for it. So I thought that was a terrific bit of storytelling. So, like, what do you guys think about John Cena CM Punk happening? Did you expect it to happen this soon, or did you think that it was going to be like a SummerSlam or like Survivor Series or just later down the line?
I thought it was going to happen this soon. I think that John Cena is constantly reminding us how many days he has left, or let's say how many appearances he has left. And so, I think CM Punk is on his list of guys he wants to compete against one more time. It gives CM Punk a chance, or at least a shot at the title. I don't think CM Punk's going to win the belt, but I think it'll be a pretty good match. I think it'll be a pretty good match with a lot of false finishes. My guess, this particular match, there's going to be some outside interference.
You know who from? You already know who from? The truth. And the truth. And the truth will set you free.
I was going to say maybe from Seth Rollins and company too.
That too.
Say,
Because didn't Truth get a match against Cena Friday on SmackDown?
Oh, yeah. I really think that they're going to almost try to do somewhat recreate the pipe bomb angle. Listen, like, because we got to remember, when CM Punk dropped the pipe bomb, obviously he interfered in a John Cena match in 2011, which ironically was a tables match against R-Truth. And R-Truth beat John Cena because CM Punk got involved.
If I remember correctly, Truth's record against Cena is 2-2.
Yeah, so
correctly.
I could very well see this being another situation where this is just setting up where Punk gets involved, R-Truth beats John Cena, and then CM Punk goes up to the top of the ramp, sits down, and just lays into John again.
Yep.
Say, I need it. I need another fierce promo like he did after John Cena turned and he got up on the announce table and called The Rock a bald fraud. That was just an absolutely terrific bit.
That was hilarious.
That was funny. That was funny. Let me ask you guys a question. I'm going to take it to a different level for just a minute. What do you guys think about the return of Nikki Bella?
I think she needs the money. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, if you know anything about what's going on in her personal life,
I'm about to say the same thing.
She got to pay to take care of that dude. She need the money.
Oh man,
that dude had a hell of a lawyer. He got a hell of a lawyer.
Equality is something, y'all. Equality is something.
It's one of those things. I'm happy to see her back now. But now I really just don't know what she's doing because I thought Liv was the perfect opponent for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But now obviously Liv's, 90% sure she's missing, Evolution unless if an absolute miracle happens. But
yep.
I was happy to see her back, and I'm really excited to see. Kind of curious on how they do this going forward. I saw Brie Bella's in talks to return too.
No,
maybe
please,
we'll get a Bella twin.
God, no, please, no.
Oh, Nikki. I mean, Brie was always pretty bad in the ring. I've never been a Brie Bella person.
Trash.
I would just
trash.
I would just say that it's crazy that she's back, and she's gonna be rusty, so she's probably gonna have to spend some time like getting her timing down again and things of that nature. I don't know if she plans on being a full-time performer because again, she's older now.
Yes.
And the women's division that she left, it's much stronger than the division that she left. She's come back to a division now where there's so much talent top to bottom. I think it's great that they got her back, but I can't, the point about wrestling that we all like is they can sell us on certain things.
Oh yeah.
what they can't sell me on is that Brie Bella would go on a title run. They can't sell that to me.
I think honestly both like I think Nikki has the star, I think Nikki, has always kind of had more of a star power than Brie, and she's at least always been able to kind of tell stories in the ring better than Brie. I think, hey, what's going on, Damien? I'd rather see Morella back than the Bella Twins.
The Cobra got more wins than the Bella Twins.
It's funny. I think those two should pretty much be. You could bring them back, but they should just be like, "Hey, we need a body for the Women's Royal Rumble," or "Hey, Evolution," or "There's a couple injury." I think they should be those just kind of substitutions and just depth pieces that you can bring back every once in a while for a nice pop, and people will love it. But yeah, I don't think that you should look to bring the Bella Twins back full time.
No, please don't do that. Please.
Sam could say, I did, by the way, I did see Charlotte doing an interview, and she was talking about, and she said something that a lot of people, I think, might not agree with, but I thought it was great. She was talking about the impact of Ronda Rousey coming to the company. And even she said, yeah, she might not have been great in the ring, but the impact that she had was undeniable. And you know what? I think a lot of people kind of underrate the impact of Ronda because, like, I'll see a lot of, like, erase one person from company history and it'll show, like, 4 superstars, including Ronda. And they're like, oh, you erased Ronda Rousey's contributions to the company. Like, the women don't get a WrestleMania main event if Ronda Rousey's not in the picture. Like, I'm just saying, I think that by quite a few people, I think that Ronda, while I understand why they don't like her, that second run she had was an absolute disaster. But,
Atrocious.
I don't think we should let that overlook her contributions and the value that she did bring to the women's division the first time around.
I like that. I agree.
She had lightning in a bottle that first run, and she took advantage of it. Now that second run, no, but that first run was pretty good.
No, I completely agree. Especially that first, especially like the first match she had. The tag team match was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, like, Ronda Rousey just went through her, like, Michael Carter Williams phase and just kind of peaked in her first match. So I understand why people don't like her, but don't let that change what she did for the business, because it was definitely for the better.
She definitely made her mark. Definitely.
Do you all think the Queen of the Ring tournament matters anymore, even though it was kind of spoiled that WWE is pushing Jade to win the women's championship? I think it does. Yeah, it is kind of like teasing it's heading in that direction, right? Like, push Jade, have her win the title at SummerSlam. Naomi catches in on her. Bianca comes back, and you have this great, like, 3-way rivalry. But I think the Queen of the Ring tournament still matters, even if the destination is starting to get a little obvious.
Every woman that's run that briefcase is going to be champion. It better happen to Naomi.
Yeah. Look, and I think they are pushing Jade. The only problem is, and look, Jade is a huge star, and I think she's going to eventually wear a title. I would like her to get a little bit more polish in the ring, though, because if you're going to be the kind of wrestler that she is, then she should be a heel, because she's a power wrestler. That suits a heel better than it does a face with her skill set. So. And look, I know everybody can't turn heel, but I'm just saying Jade is more of a bully to me than she is a face.
At least she's better than Goldberg.
Oh, she's much better. I would pick her in a match against Goldberg.
You know what's funny? I think that's almost why you do, like, have her win Queen of the Ring tournament, because I think it could be the catalyst for a heel turn.
Yes.
Listen, Naomi cashes in the Money in the Bank briefcase. She's probably going to get cheered. I'm like 99% certain of it. And I almost think that's the perfect catalyst for an eventual Jade heel turn. I think you play with, hey, she cashed in and tried to take my title and you all, turned on me and booed me. Or guess what's going to happen? They're going to have Naomi fail the cash in and people are going to turn on Jade for, getting the Super Cena 10 push.
Oh, yeah.
Still
Yeah.
turn her heel anyway.
Right.
I just think that the cash in on Naomi should be the catalyst for the Jade heel turn, and I think it should happen at SummerSlam.
Then triple threat match with Bianca, Jade, and Naomi. Triple threat for the title. There you go.
Oh,
Right.
Carmike said Oldberg. Right.
Dry Pain is way better than Goldberg.
I won't argue.
Facts.
You know what's funny? I was thinking of fun, trying to think of a fun start bench cut to do. That's how I came up with the career matches. I almost went Bald Wrestlers edition with Goldberg, but every combination, I'm like, yeah, well, I already know who's not winning. It's probably not going to be Goldberg. So I'm looking Stone Cold, The Rock, Kurt Angle. I'm like, yeah, we're probably not picking Goldberg over any of them.
No, I'm not.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. It's funny, at first when he announced last year that he was having his retirement match, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like, maybe you can catch lightning in a bottle and you can get that one more match out of Goldberg, but now I'm just kind of like, why are we doing this? At first I thought maybe you could drag him to one more good match, but now it just feels like it's over, dog. Let it go.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's weird for him to be having his retirement match now. I feel like he should have had that match 10 years ago. Like there should be a cutoff to when you can have a retirement match. He's well past his prime. And like I said, when you're coming to do a promo and you're limping to the ring, that's not a good sign.
I thought he had 2 perfect retirement matches already. Is almost the beautiful part of it. The first, being WrestleMania 33 would have been a perfect retirement match for him against Lesnar. And then he had a great SummerSlam match against Dolph Ziggler in 2019. And I really thought after that, I'm like, he's done. You're not going to get much better than Dolph Ziggler here. All I'm going to say is this, too, because I know, sometimes, your eyes can kind of deceive you, or I hope that he's satisfied with the match, because I'm sure Goldberg will probably bring him to the best match possible. I'm just really hoping that it doesn't have too good of a match where it's, I can still go maybe a couple more times. I will give Gunther credit. I think he will carry him to a passable match.
And I hope Gunther wins. I want Gunther to win. Goldberg can represent himself well and have a couple of moments, but I want Gunther to win.
I think he will. It took me a minute to realize that you're talking about Bret Hart. I'm like, why am I screwing over Goldberg?
Damian, I like your idea better. I would love if Bret Hart showed up and screwed Goldberg.
I would, Goldberg retires like a 45-year-old Udonis Haslem farewell tour.
Ooh.
Hey, let's just hope that Goldberg's retirement is like that final regular season Udonis Haslem game where he had a 20-piece. So, I would love it though if they reenacted one of his greatest spots though. The old steel plate spot. Maybe Goldberg tries to go for an early spear and Gunther's wearing a plate under his big coat. I think that would be a great spot to reenact.
I like that. The Bret thing. Yeah, Bret did that. Okay, I'm good with that. Look, Bret's my favorite wrestler, so I like
that'd be cool too.
I like Damian's idea. I'm cool with it.
You put me out the business, I'm gonna finish you out the business.
I like that idea.
Oh, I say, man, I really would. It sucks that Bret Hart did suffer that injury because, man, if only he could stick around and wrestle at a high level for another 4 years, all the classics that he could have had.
WCW did him wrong though, because if you go back and you look at it, There were other people he could have feuded with beside Goldberg that would have made so much. Hell, he was tag team champs with Goldberg in WCW, but it would have made so much more sense if you would have had him making money with Hogan. But between Hogan being what he was, not seeing Brett as that guy, it didn't happen. But that would have made the more sense for Brett than to have him go up against Goldberg, because you could have made that Hulk Hogan versus Bret Hart at that point of their career. It would have drew money.
I mean, it would have drew money. I don't know how good the match would have been. Look, Brett's a great in-ring performer, but Hogan was never a good. He was horrible. The coolest version of Hulk Hogan, I've always said this, was in fact Hollywood Hogan. That's the best version of Hulk Hogan. It's the only version of Hulk Hogan I liked. But even that version of Hulk Hogan was a lousy in-ring performer. Like that match, Brett would have had to carry it.
Yeah.
You knew WCW had no idea what to do with Bret Hart when he first came in. Like, you have the hottest guy in the industry right now coming off the Montreal screw job.
Yep.
And your first idea with him is, you're going to be a special guest referee. Like, excuse me?
Bruh.
And then you're going to randomly come out and you're going to yell at the timekeeper that there was a fast count between Sting and Hulk Hogan when it was like the most regular of 3 counts I've ever seen in my life. Because, they couldn't figure out what they wanted the ending to be.
Mm-hmm.
Which just ended up making Bret Hart look like an idiot. So, like, you could just tell right off the bat that they had no, like, long-term plan for Hart, and that was unfortunate.
Nope.
You know what it was, Will, Brett? They knew they wanted Bret Hart. They knew they wanted him, but they had no plans for him. Nothing. They didn't know what they were going to do with him. And you know this, bringing Bret Hart in sounded good, but you knew Hogan wasn't going to put Bret Hart over him.
That's like the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau. You let Tibbs go, but you had no backup plan. This is the same thing. You bring in Brett, you had no plan for him. No, nothing.
They killed their company because they took one of the most brilliant ideas ever done in wrestling and they overdid it to the 10th power. Like they killed themselves because 90% of their talent was members of the NWO.
Of some sort.
Like there was like 10 people going up against the entire NWO. It was the NWO was so big. They had 3 different factions. It was terrible.
And they had their own pay-per-view.
Yep. And let's not forget the guy who I thought would never turn NWO, Kurt Hennig, was part of the NWO.
He was. What? Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Bret Hart at one point?
Although the NWO 2000.
Yeah.
They had every wrestler you could want to go against the NWO was in the NWO, except for Sting.
Scott Norton was part of the NWO. I'm like, bro.
Scott Norton, Scott Steiner, like everybody.
I'm like, bro, really?
I think even Sting joined the Wolfpack at some point. You're just like, okay, like, what's the end game?
What's going on? Luger was part of the Wolfpack.
Yeah, it really sucks because, like, if they would have, like, ended the, because I think they had, like, the idea was there and you could see it. Like, Hogan loses the title to Sting at Starrcade. Then you split the factions with NWO and Wolfpack and eventually lead to a big, like, Hogan and Nash match. I think if you just straight up, had a match and didn't pull the whole finger poke of doom to reunite the NWO, again.
He lost it to Luger for a week.
That would have been an absolutely terrific move. And then you keep the NWO disbanded for like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually reunite them down the road. Because, listen, I've always like kind of fantasy booked with the NWO. And my fantasy booking always leads to them disbanding in 98 after an epic Hogan versus Nash match. And obviously, as we know, in 2000s, they had the faction called the New Blood, which was all the old, the newer guys wanting to push all the older guys out. And, like, imagine the pop that would have happened if, like, the NWO had actually disbanded, like, 2-3 years earlier and then reunited to face off against the New Blood. Like, you get a massive pop. You get possibly some young guys over as long as they're willing to put the young guys over.
Right.
But That was also the problem, too. Outside of the big salaries, just giving half the main eventers creative control just was a disaster.
They did not want to put over guys who were younger and more talented, and that killed them. Like, they didn't want to put Eddie over. They didn't want to put over the late Chris Benoit, Malenko, all those dudes who were great middle card guys, but they were ready to elevate. And Hogan was like, I'm not giving nothing up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, and then, like, I still find it funny, like, too, just the amount that people are getting paid in, WCW. Like, some of these names are just...
They were having people being paid sitting at the house.
Like,
they weren't even on the road at the time. They were sitting at home making 5-6 digit figures. Bruh.
No, absolutely. Like, I got these numbers pulled up real quick, and it is the funniest thing ever. Like, John Tenta, who, of course, is Earthquake, in the year 1996 is making $240,000. Like, that is a lot of money in 1946, and I'm not paying, Earthquake that. And it's just so crazy to see all these different names and just seeing how much, money they were just handing out to guys that weren't doing much. Like, over $100,000 at Disco Inferno. Like,
and later on in his career, he was sitting at the house later on.
No, absolutely. It's just wild to see just how much money they threw. It as fun as it was as fun as WCW was, they also showed like, hey, this is how you don't run a wrestling company.
Oh yeah. Dusty was running it a decent clip when Dusty was doing the booking, but once Dusty was gone,
when Bischoff took over, and they brought in what's old boy's name? The other Vince Russo. When Russo and look, Bischoff did a lot of things right, but what he did after the initial surge of the NWO, which by the way, the heel turn great, the execution great, everything was great until everybody who was anybody was in the NWO.
Oh yeah,
because at some point you got to have somebody go up against the NWO. And they didn't have anybody. All the best wrestlers were in the NWO, and he and Russo they over milked that whole route. They over milked that. They killed that.
Stevie Ray was part of the NWO. Come on now.
Well,
really?
Stevie Ray, he didn't have nothing to do. He was. I mean, at one point, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Virgil part of the NWO?
Yeah.
He even had Virgil in there.
God rest his soul. God rest his soul. He was part of the NWO.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, no, that man like milked that. Like he's just wearing NWO shirts, just setting up autograph tables all over the place. Like it was fantastic. It just goes to show like you can have the greatest idea ever, but you got to know when to end it at some point.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think the most embarrassing moment was, and I think we all can appreciate this. Hogan and Nash are getting ready to go one-on-one for the belt. You know what happens.
Yeah.
They get in the ring and he does the tap, and Hogan starts doing his little jog in place, and Nash just starts jogging in place. He just claps. And Hogan pins him. And Hogan had the nerve to come back on and get on the mic and say, this is the embarrassing, you know what, and this is what people don't want. Like, you were in on it. You're in on that, man. And in Hogan's contract, he had creative control over everything that involved him.
Yep.
One of my favorite Hogan lines is when he's like, "Yeah, brother, I never use creative control." I was like,
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yes,
like,
you did.
Eric Bischoff, Sting, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, like. Literally everybody that knows you said that's a lie, but he's like, "Oh, I never used it, brother." Like,
he did. Yeah, he did.
He never used creative control the same way he never used steroids.
That's where the whole problem at Bash at the Beach 2000 when he wanted to walk out with the belt and he refused to put Jeff Jarrett over and kept using his creative control, which led to the Vince Russo just having Jeff Jarrett lay down than getting sued for trying to shoot on Hulk Hogan.
They took WCW, blew it up with a great idea with the NWO, was giving WWE or F at the time all it could want in terms of competition.
What was it? 82 weeks.
Yeah.
They was giving it to them,
Mm-hmm.
and they just milked a really good idea dry. And obviously that kind of ushered in the Attitude Era for W. Once the Attitude Era fully took over or took off, it was over. It was no more competition, no more. It was over.
Yep.
The infamous, they finally lost the ratings wars because Mick Foley was going to win the world title. That'll put butts in seats.
I remember when Tony Schiavone was like, Mick Foley just won the world title. Like he tried to make it light of it, but Mick Foley became a huge star. Like it wasn't funny. It was real.
And what did Ric Flair say about Mick Foley? He ain't nothing but a glorified stuntman.
Say Rick is also just kind of old and bitter.
I'm gonna say to have had his career, Ric Flair is such a hater.
He say I completely agree with that, and I'm
that's funny.
That's wild.
No, absolutely. But yeah, no, guys, that went really fast, but that is all the time we have for this week.
Oh wow, it did go fast.
Well, that was a fast hour.
Yeah, it was. It was fun though.
No, absolutely. Of course, Mo, do you have anything you want to add before we get up on out of here?
No, I just really appreciate Will coming on. Hope he comes on more because I think having Will come on, he just made the hour go super fast for us. So if that's all it takes for the hour to go that much faster, well, you got to come on more. I had a lot of fun. Appreciate Damien and everybody else up in the chat. Make sure you guys join us again next week at 9:00.
Absolutely. Will, you are more than welcome to come on any week that you would like. Is there anything you want to add before we get up and out of here?
I just want to say thank you for having me this week. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate the invite, and I will be definitely taking advantage of that.
Appreciate it, Will.
Sounds good. And then, of course, you can check out the morning show tomorrow. You can check Mo and I out on Thursday with our watch along for the NBA Finals, Game 6, with Carmike. Better be there. No ducks again. No ducks again, Carmike.
Come on, Carmike. You should be ahead of your time. You should go ahead and ask permission if you can come on.
Carmike just popped in real quick.
Start bench cut
prime. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. Ooh,
it's not hard for me. I'm sorry. I already told you. I'm starting Bret Hart.
I'm starting Shawn Michaels.
I'm starting Bret Hart. I'm benching Shawn Michaels. Sorry, Triple H.
I agree with Mo.
It's just so tough because Triple H wasn't the in-ring performer that these guys were, but man, he's just excellent character work just every time with him.
He had a great sense of humor too in his prime. He was hilarious.
Yeah, he was.
I think it. You know what? I'll do it. I'll bench Triple H and I'll cut Bret Hart.
That's painful.
That's crazy.
It's funny because I'm named after Bret Hart. Funny.
How you gonna cut your namesake?
How you gonna cut your namesake like that, man?
Yeah,
how you gonna do that, man? Come on, man.
It's tough, but Shawn and Triple H are two of my favorites. I think Bret Hart's better in the ring than Triple H, but man, Triple H isn't bad in the ring himself and has such a wide range of character. Thoughts on Max's new contract splitting weight? I think that's great. Listen, the more eyes on the product you can get, the better.
For sure.
Now it's going to look weird because it'll be they only got 500,000 viewers on cable, but we've already seen they put out numbers but another 700,000 watched on Max. So overall, I think it's terrific.
Oh yeah, fact.
Carmike said, "Cut the game is crazy."
No, it ain't.
No, fair enough. Like I said, thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll hopefully see you guys on Thursday, and you guys enjoy the rest of your night.